What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Sirât, the Spanish drama film from Óliver. Laxe. This film premiered back at Cannes last year, won the jury prize there, and had a successful awards season all the way up to making the shortlist and being nominated for Best International Feature Film. The film released back in its native Spain in June of 2025, but only just got to the United States in March on the eve of the Oscars. And not expected to win Best International Feature Film. Of course, it's really stacked here in that category with Sentimental Value and The Secret Agent likely duking it out for that honor in the end. But I think the reception to this movie actually comes across as a bit of a surprise level of recognition given how strong the international film year was. In addition to getting that nomination, Sirât also made the Oscar shortlist in numerous other categories, which is a bit uncommon for most international films. Óliver Laxe's Sirât is an impressive movie because it's incredibly unique. The story of a father looking for his lost daughter at a rave in the desert, think Moroccan Burning Man, is a really intriguing premise on its own. This film is able to take that presence and use largely non-professional working actors playing fictionalized versions of themselves to really authentic, compelling effect. Sirât maintains a level of unpredictability and incredible tension that you really feel as you watch this movie unfold. The film has a lot to say about found family and personal loss and everything in between. In keeping with its early rave setting, it's powered by a singular electronic score throughout the whole movie. And Sirât easily had one of the best scenes of the year with an absolute jaw-dropper that you didn't see coming. The word Sirât is Arabic for, I believe, road or path, pathway. And I mean, that's really aptly titled for this movie because it's a pure road film. And right away, we're introduced to Luis, played by a Spanish actor, Sergi López. And Luis is looking for his daughter who's been gone for some time, who's an adult, at least above 18 for what we know. A lot of the movie's quite vague in terms of detail like that. And he's arrived at this rave in the Moroccan desert, somewhere in the Sahara, and he's looking for his daughter, who he thinks could be there. He's driven there in a family minivan, brought his young son, Esteban, and their dog with him. Not exactly prepared for an extended journey to accomplish this. And, he's at the rave completely out of place, and the military shows up to break up the party because some kind of large global conflict, alluded to being World War III, has started to take place. And obviously, chaos is going to ensue. They want to break up the event. And the movie never explicitly tells you what's going on with any great detail. It's very reminiscent of Alex Garland's Civil War in that regard, where the world detail like that is completely besides the point and not of actual interest to the movie you're watching. And the movie really takes off when Luis goes to follow this offshoot group of ravers who are seeking another rave deeper in the desert. And Luis kind of YOLOs it and thinks, oh, maybe he'll find his daughter there. And that's where the movie becomes a true road movie where his lack of preparation in a certain sense comes to the fore with his car and the really difficult terrain they're traversing and these ravers who he encounters. He's kind of keeping them at arm's length for a while, but the concepts of chosen family, found family really come up right away as we meet all these actors playing these various ravers. Some of them are coupled up, some of them are single. They're all not actors at all, and it's quite impressive because I think their scenes, the dramatic scenes, are quite good. A lot of them have a unique look. There's certainly a presence to them. The vehicles they're driving, one's is massive camper vans, so they're big kind of Jeep style truck. Very cool, very visual. And just as the characters are beginning to get closer, out of a shared experience, right? They're pooling their resources together in terms of food and gas and things like that. Esteban is getting friendlier with them, and they're giving him a haircut and things like that. It's all going well as far as driving somewhat aimlessly into the desert via your own manual cartography goes. That's when the scene happens in this movie. And that scene it was a true jaw dropper. I definitely physically felt my mouth open as I watched that scene. It's a truly shocking scene where taking the mountain road, the crew does to kind of get off the main roads where the military vehicles are, trafficking often. And they experience some bad weather and they're trying to move one of the vehicles that's kind of stuck. And all of a sudden, in like a split second, Esteban and the dog start rolling backwards in Luis's van where the e-brake has come undone or failed in some way. And you watch in pure terror as that vehicle rolls backwards down the road and off the cliff, because they're pretty high up in the mountains at that point. And it's a truly like, did that just happen type moment. It was truly shocking. Obviously, that completely changes how the movie goes. Pretty heartbreaking stuff for sure. And obviously, the movie takes on a completely different bend after that, and things go wrong as they don't find the rave. And the tragedy gets ratcheted up a notch as more death unfolds once they unwittingly discover a active minefield in the desert. It's a movie that you just don't expect to go where it goes. And I think that tension and that unpredictability really pays off well. I like the ending. I like the specific ambiguity to the ending, if that makes any sense at all. There's a clear finality to the emotion of the characters that make it to the end that I think resonates, and like the point is across. And again, amongst all that, you have that electronic score that kind of drops in and out. That was a score that, just out of its uniqueness, I would have appreciated a Best Original Score nomination at the Oscars. I don't find this at like the same level of propulsion as, say, the Challenger's score does, in terms of recent electronic scores. But this was still pretty interesting. And yeah, shout out Sirât, a unique movie for sure. Now, when I look at Best International Feature Film, as I've been saying, No Other Choice, my number 3 movie of last year, did not make the cut, and I'm really disappointed in that. And I've largely laid the blame of that snub at the feet of Sirât and also The Voice of Hind Rajab, the other nominee. And I haven't seen The Voice of Hind Rajab yet. That movie never got a theatrical release here in the States. So given that I also like Sirât, I will now blame that movie for that snub. And I'll keep that energy. But let me know what you thought of Sirât. I think it's a pretty stacked international film year. I also really liked Kokuo out of Japan, which I reviewed, which did not make the Oscar cut either. Good year. I'm really looking forward to seeing if 2026 can match that for the most part. And Sirât, it's had a small limited release the last few weeks, not doing crazy business by any means, but it's still getting out there for people to see. And if you've seen it, let me know what you thought of it. If you're from Europe, you probably saw it months and months ago. Let me know what you thought of the movie. And for more movie reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.